Welcome back, everybody, and today we'll talk about everything that can go wrong. So let's get the party started. It was one of these days for me. I had a ridiculous amount of things happen that seemed like they were going wrong. And I'd love to share them all with you first so we can have a good laugh. But then also I would love to reflect a bit and put a different spin on this so that whenever the next time something really goes wrong in your business or in your life and it frustrates the hell out of you, you can switch lanes and enjoy the rest of the day or the week. Okay, first thing that happened for me today, ghosting. This is a very common thing. So especially when you do any sales or outreach, or if you have a business, then it happens quite frequently that the other party is not as committed to showing up as you are. And actually this happens in the dating world as well. It seems to be just part of life, where you have something, you're expecting something to happen in your world because you have booked it on the calendar, you have asked somebody to do something, and you're hoping and you're expecting that it will happen, but it doesn't. Something else happens instead, right? Instead of what you have been expecting. You would ask yourself, why am I actually doing all of this? What was the point of talking to this person in the first place? You would sometimes blame them. You'd say like, what an ass. And it would often kind of sometimes discourage you to a point where you would feel like this makes no sense anymore. Why am I even doing this? And this happens in many ways, right? It happens not only in business, it happens in romantic relationships. It happens also in personal relationships when you host events and half of the people don't show up or they show up late. It has become somewhat normal in our society that people just don't show up. And so if this happens for you, when you notice, this person didn't show up, right? Then first of all, clearly you'll feel not so great. But notice why it is that you actually feel not so great. It is not because the person didn't show up, because let's be honest, right? Maybe they weren't that great after all. Did you have that before where somebody didn't show up and you were actually relieved? You're like, thank God I didn't have to hang out with that person. Oh my God, right? But sometimes it just randomly happens and you start to suffer after that because of the story you tell yourself in your mind. And it very much depends on how long and how crazy of a story you tell yourself. And based on that, you will feel either incredibly terrible or it will actually fuel your endeavors. Yeah. And so I like to sometimes tune into the opposite side of the coin, because normal story that we would tune into is, this person doesn't care. Maybe they suck. Or maybe it was about me. What did I do wrong so that they didn't show up? And so sometimes we make up all these stories that tell us, this happened because. And the interesting thing is, in most cases, we will just never know the answer because the person just won't show up. In some cases, the person will show up and correct the things, and anything that you believe will have happened until then, it kind of gets resolved. And so I like to suspend any theories I have and just tune into an alternative story, right? Because you are making up the story, so you might as well make up a good one that is actually helping you. And my story that I like to tune into here often is the one that says, seems like I was supposed to do something else. Seems like there was something else here that was more important than me hanging out with this person right now. And I would just go with that. And sometimes I would feel pretty terrible for like 5 minutes, maybe 10. And then I would just move on. And I kid you not, I would start doing fantastic things, because if you are actually up to stuff in the world, if you notice that there's so much stuff in our world, so much complexity, so much things to experience, you will never be bored. You'll never be bored of what can be done, what can be happening, right? And you won't be attached to a particular event or an expectation of what must happen so that you're happy. You know, it's cool if I feel like there's lots of expectations going on my side, or I feel attachment, or I feel some sort of story in my mind is ruining my day. Even if many people don't show up one after the other, right? I can still tell myself the same story until I find out what actually is going on. And just move on, move forward, right? There's this beautiful saying, when somebody can't hang out with you, what would you say? Next. Right. That's right. Yeah, because what can you do? Nothing more to be done. Okay, let's go into our second frustration that frequently occurs: tech problems. There's a small tech issue that then gets proportionately blown out into like your whole day. So I moved all my stuff from a private Google account to a Google Workspace account, and there's like this fun loop that happens, especially when there's a tech challenge, that you kind of solve a problem, and that problem reveals three more problems, and then these three problems reveal 15 more problems, right? And so sometimes you find yourself in this like weird loop, and at the end maybe you come out the other end and you finally finished it, and you run the thing again to check, is everything resolved now? And it tells you no, everything is still the same. And you wonder, what is wrong with this stupid thing? It makes no sense at all. And so, for all of you guys who are struggling and suffering from the stupid tech challenges that make absolutely no sense whatsoever, don't worry. This is commonplace. Yeah, our technology that we hype so much can be quite beautiful, but it has quite a lot of flaws, actually. And many times it is absolutely nonsensical. I have sometimes, family ask me, "Hey, like, what's the reason? What's the reason behind this thing? Like, why is this like that?" And I wonder sometimes myself, because there's so much nonsensical bullshit that is just making your life more difficult. And I can't explain it. I can't say, well, this is completely pointless. Just ignore it. And they're like, no, I want to know. And I'm saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but this makes no sense. So let's just please move on. I really have better things to do than waste my life with random tech challenges that have come up. Here's the deeper meaning and the lesson behind the frustration, right? Because what we get frustrated of, and our frustration again here is with our expectation of having everything resolved in one click, right? If we thought that there was an issue that's normally occurring every week, and that we would have to spend at least one day of our week to just fix all these issues, because that's just how the world is, then actually we would feel delighted even that it would take only an hour.